All right, we're here with the man's voice that you hear around the Sleeman Center every single home game, Paul Osborne, the public address announcer of the Guelph Storm. Paul, thanks for joining us here. We're going to talk about the Memorial Cup coming up in 2027, but first, Paul, I just wanted to ask you, your role as a public address announcer here at the Sleeman Center. A lot of people want that role, and maybe we can just talk about how you got into that role and what made you want to be a public address announcer.
Well, back in 1991, I was working in radio at the time at C-Joy and Magic FM, and had followed the Guelph Platers when they were here. And so they asked if I would do the PA starting in 1991 back in Memorial Gardens. And it was a little bit different back then. We had little cassettes with one song per side, and I was doing the announcing and the music. And of course, the music was at the back of the booth, so I'm running back and forth like a trained rat the whole game, but loved every minute of it. And so I've done it ever since 1991 when the team arrived, and since then worked full-time for the team as well and billeted some players. So the connection with the Storm has been very tight for many, many years.
Absolutely. Sounds like quite the workout back in the day as a public address announcer. Paul, you touched on it. You had some close ties with the Guelph Storm outside of the public address announcing booth, outside the Sleeman Center. Maybe we could just touch on your roles that you've had with the Guelph Storm from the start to now.
Yeah, sure. At PA since 91, and then 1998. It was announced that they were building the new arena here. So they hired me full-time to help the transition from Memorial Gardens to the Sleeman Center. We were losing a lot of revenue because all the boards and ice revenue was now being split with the owners of the arena at the time, New Stadia. So we had to make up 40% revenue just to break even when we moved into this building. So that was a lot of time spent on that, selling suites and up in the high end area in the ends here in the middle. So I worked there for 2 years to help that happen. And in 2000, that was from 98 to 2000. And then in 2002, I was co-chair of the Memorial Cup that was hosted here. And so that was a great experience and kind of parlays into what's going to happen here in 2027. We billeted a couple of players when my children were young. We had Dustin Brown and Kyle Spur, a great experience as well. And so it's just been, and then worked for the Guelph Tribune also for 35 years, writing a column on the Storm every week. And so the ties have been tight, and I just love junior hockey, and I think once you fall in love with it, it's hard to let it go.
Absolutely. If anyone's looking for any history on the Guelph Storm, you're the guy to go to. You've been here since 1991, so you have a plethora of knowledge for the franchise. Moving things over, you touched on the Memorial Cup back in 2002. We're now here in 2027, coming up with the Memorial Cup. You're playing a big part of that. Maybe just talk about your role specifically for 2027 that you look to take on next year.
Okay, so I'm working for the Canadian Hockey League, and I'm kind of a link to the local organizing committee on behalf of the Canadian Hockey League. So really, we've already had several meetings, getting plans rolling and that sort of thing. So I'm a little bit the eyes and the ears of the CHL locally on the ground, and I think my experience from 2002 will really help with that. Back then, we only had like 4 months to prepare for the Memorial Cup. This year, we have this time a year and a half, so that will really help us roll out more events that can include more people. So I'll be working with the local committee, but also reporting back to the CHL, and I think that'll be a good mix for me.
Absolutely. And the 2026 Memorial Cup is in Kelowna. You'll be making the trip out west to experience the behind the scenes there of how they run things for the Memorial Cup. What are you looking to take out of the experience of going out west this year that you'll look to apply for 2027? Well,
we'll have a large structure of committees here for 2027. So I'm interested to know in Kelowna, the events outside the hockey rink, how are they staffing those? What kind of committees do they have? How big are they? What's the structure they've put in place to be successful? I think that will be a big thing for Guelph. The games kind of run themselves. Of course, there's a lot of planning to make it happen, but how do they incorporate their alumni? You've got the CHL, their staff is there. The OHL, Western League, Quebec Maritime League will also be there. So how do you just bring everything together and make it flow when it comes to the actual event happening?
Absolutely. And, we see the games on TV. that's the one that stands out are the games that gets the spotlight for the Memorial Cup, but it's also bringing in the community and getting people more involved into the game of hockey, and that's what those events kind of help out with, is getting people who haven't necessarily been at the Sleeman Center, in the past that often. The Memorial Cup gives them a chance to learn more about hockey and get more involved.
Absolutely, and that's a really big focus of the Guelph Memorial Cup. We want to bring in people that reflect our community. We know the stands will be filled for the games. We have great hockey fans in Guelph, and they've supported this team again this year, over 4,500 a game. So we know that part's taken care of. But what about a lot of people that don't know a lot about hockey or haven't been to many games? How do we bring them into it? And so we will have upwards of 30, 40 events that will happen outside of the games here. And so things like a breakaway parade where we're going to maybe have 1,000 hockey sticks and hockey balls and have kids stick handle from maybe across the John McCrae Museum down to the Sleeman Center, and just to have a stick in their hand for the first time. We'll work with the City of Guelph. They'll have time at the new South End Rec Center. That will be a free skate time for Learn to Skate, or maybe come skate with some of our alumni. There will be other events across the road at River Run Center with local musicians and different, like a marketplace will be over there. So lots of events that will bring in everybody from the community and really reflect what Guelph has become, because there's a lot of new Canadians that have come here, and let's introduce them to the sport of hockey. And as part of the Canadian Hockey League, that's their goal too, is to grow the sport. So that'll be a real focus for us.
Absolutely. Looking forward to these events happening over the course of the Memorial Cup run. And Paul, we talked about those events happening. You said 30 to 40 events, some of them happening simultaneously. It'll mean that you need a lot of volunteers to help out get these programs in place and get them running. Maybe you can just talk about the need and the human capital we need to get these running successfully.
Yeah, absolutely. There will be so many events running, as you mentioned, simultaneously in many cases. Each of those events needs a committee to organize it and to run it. So a lot of pre-planning goes into it. And so we are going to need a lot of hands on deck, and we're really counting on the people of Guelph to come forward and help run these events. Some of them are more minor in nature, others are more major, but we're trying to get a great pool of volunteers together now. We're just starting. If you come to games, we're announcing that you can sign up at different tables. You could call the Storm office. Some would be boots on the ground to actually run the event on the day of. Others would involve more committee work and planning. And you're not just left alone. You'd be working with a larger committee that would help oversee and make sure you have the tools to be successful. We want to make sure that every event that we runs without a problem and is supported well by the overall committee. So there's many areas you may not think, well, what would I do? We're looking for people in different areas to come forward, and we'd always have a place for any volunteer that would want to come, give their time, and make the Memorial Cup in Guelph successful.
Absolutely. It gives you a chance to be part of this great experience here in the Royal City, but also there's a lot of opportunity. If you want to take a step back, play a big picture role, you can be on the committee. If you want to be a part of it right on the streets, you can be a part of those programs as well. Thank you so much, Paul, for joining us here this morning, and we're looking forward to the 2027 Memorial Cup. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.